Ah! Hi guys! Welcome to English Pie. Let's begin by watching a movie. It's a very short movie. Let's just enjoy it. Okay, so what does the woman ask the man? She will probably ask him, what happened? Now, when people ask you what happened, you will probably need to tell a story. Let's listen to the man's story. What does he tell the woman? She asked him what happened, and he said, "It was a beautiful morning. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. The air was fresh and the ground was wet because it had been raining the night before. That's what happened." And what does the lady say? She says, "What? I asked you what happened. I didn't ask you to just describe the scenery." Okay, so what is the problem with the man's story? The problem is he had no past simple action verbs. When we tell a story or when we describe what happened, we must use past simple action verbs. If you have no past simple action verbs, you have no story. Now let's look at what the man said. It was a beautiful morning. Yes, that's past simple, but it is not an action. It's describing the morning. It has an adjective, beautiful, to describe the morning. The sun was shining and the birds were singing. Okay, that is past continuous. That is not what happened. Past continuous tells us what was happening at the same time that your story happened. But it is not an important action in the story. The air was fresh and the ground was wet. Again, these are past simple, but they are not actions. They are describing the situation, the scenery, the background. And last, the ground was wet because it had been raining the night before. Past perfect continuous, had been raining. Now, every important action in your story must be past simple. If it is not past simple, it is not important. We can take it away and you will still have a story. But if you have no past simple verbs, You have no story. So what happened? Let's try again. The woman can ask the man, what happened? Now he can say this. I wanted to clean the roof, so I got the ladder and leaned it against the house. When I reached the top of the ladder, it slipped on the wet grass, and I fell down and hurt my head. Now, the woman will say, oh, I understand. This new story has only past simple action verbs. I got the ladder. I leaned it against the house. I reached the top of the ladder. It slipped. I fell down. I hurt my head. Now the man, he can join the background information to his past simple verbs. So for example, he can say, it was a beautiful morning, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, the air was fresh, and the ground was wet because it had been raining the night before. I wanted to clean the roof, so I got the ladder, leaned it against the house, and when I reached the top of the ladder, it slipped on the wet grass, and I fell down and hurt my head. So now we have background information connected to the past simple actions. I want you all to understand that you do not need background information for your story. If we take away beautiful morning, sun was shining, birds were singing, air was fresh, ground was wet. If we take that away and only have got the ladder, leaned it against the house, reached the top, slipped, fell, hurt my head. If we only have the past simple verbs, it is still a good story. It is perfect. People will understand exactly what you are talking about. The past simple verb are like steps or stairs. If we look at the man, he wants to go from the beginning to the end. Now, each of these steps are really like a past simple action verb. Step, step, step. 一步，一步的. This is your story. This is your past simple verbs. You cannot go anywhere with no past simple verb. If we think of a movie or a play at the theater, people pay money to come to watch the story, right? Now, if we look at this movie or this play, what can we see? We can see a house, beautiful sun shining, some flowers, some trees. Maybe we can see some birds. How long can we watch that movie or that play? Not long. It's boring. It's beautiful. The picture, the background is beautiful, but it's boring. Nothing happened. Let's compare it to this play or this movie. Now, what can we see? We cannot see any beautiful background. We cannot see beautiful sun, beautiful flowers, beautiful trees, beautiful house. We cannot see that. But it doesn't matter, because what can we see? We can see action. We can see a past simple action. The bad man shot the good man. That's interesting. That is exciting. If we have past simple actions, we don't need the beautiful background. Let's look at one more. Okay, now this is a different movie or a different play. What can we see? Well, now we can see the beautiful background, the beautiful house, the beautiful sun, the beautiful flowers, the beautiful trees, and we can see the exciting action. So, background information, we don't need it. But if we know how to use it, it can make our stories more beautiful, more interesting. But the past simple is the king. The past simple action verbs are the kings of your stories. Let's look at another short story. I woke up at 6:30. I got out of bed, got dressed, had a shower, ate breakfast, and then went to school. Is it right or wrong? Well, the past simple action verb is always in the correct order. So let's look at this story. If we look at the verbs, woke up, got out, got dressed, had a shower, ate breakfast, went to school. These are all past simple. That means they happen in the correct order. So let's have a look. What happened first? First, I woke up. Second, I got out of bed. Third, I got dressed. Fourth, I had a shower. What? First I got dressed and then had a shower? That's crazy. Past simple is always the correct order. So what's the correct story? If you are not crazy, what is the correct story? Well, of course, it's this. I woke up at 6:30. I got out of bed. I had a shower. Then I got dressed. Then I ate breakfast. Then I went to school. That is not crazy. Now, when we tell stories, of course, we use other tenses. We use past simple, past continuous, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous, and even past future. But the past simple action is the king. And all of these other tenses must be connected to a past simple verb. You cannot say to your friend, "Hey John, yesterday I was walking home. Goodbye." Your friend will say, "What? What are you talking about?" You cannot say to your friend, "Hey John, yesterday it had been raining. Bye." Your friends will think you are crazy. Why? Because you cannot use past continuous or past perfect if you do not have some past simple action verbs. The other tenses must be connected to a past simple. Let's look at this picture. The past simple action verbs, they are like an anchor. All the other tenses must be connected to a past simple verb. If we don't connect the other tense to a past simple anchor, we don't know what you were talking about. This boat is past perfect. It happened before the past simple action verb. The middle boat is past continuous. It was happening at the same time as the past simple. And the last boat is the past future. It happened after that past simple verb. What does this mean? Well, let's have a look. Here we can see a man. Yesterday morning, he left his house. And he looked at the ground and he noticed water. Everywhere is water. The ground is wet. Why? Why is everything wet? Well, because of the rain. When did the rain happen? Well, it happened before he left the house and before he noticed the water. So the sentence here, yesterday, when I left my house, I noticed it had been raining, or it had rained. Both okay. Past perfect. Past perfect tells us that something happened before the past simple. Past perfect tells us this is not the correct order. Remember, your past simple is correct order. First, second, third, fourth. When we hear or read a past perfect, it's telling us this is not the correct order. This happened before that time. Here we have another picture. The same two past simple verbs, left and noticed. I think you can tell me what the sentence is here. So we look at the picture. Now, rain and noticed, same time or different time? Well, same time. Yesterday when I left my house, I noticed it was raining. Same time. Past continuous. We use past continuous to talk about something that was still happening at the time of that past simple verb. Last picture. Left, noticed, rain. Same time or different time? Different time. When was rain? Rain was after noticed. Rain was the future of noticed. So if the man looks at the cloud, if he is talking about now, 现在的话, what will he say? He will say, it is going to rain. But now this is past. So what will he say? Yesterday, when I left my house, I noticed it was going to rain. Was going to is the past of is going to. You could also say, I noticed it would rain. Would is the past of will. So if you're talking about now, you could say it will rain or it is going to rain. But if you talk about past, it was going to rain, it would rain. Well guys, thanks for watching this very brief introduction to tenses for stories. I hope you enjoyed it, and I do hope you learned something. I'll see you later.